This flooding in North Carolina does not sit well with me. I think something's going on. So I decided to do some digging. So the first thing I find out is North Carolina has the richest deposits of lithium in the entire world. Yeah, lithium for like cars, batteries, all that. Then I find out they have the world's highest purity quartz deposits. And that quartz just so happens to be the world's supply for AI chips, microchips, and all kinds of stuff. We're talking a $530 billion industry. So this is where it gets interesting. So a company by the name of Piedmont Lithium is awaiting a state mining permit for a site in northern Gaston County. And Gaston County is completely flooded right now. The project was awaiting zoning approval because they were getting backlash from the residents and also city officials. And this lithium mine they want would be the third largest producer of lithium in the world. And they made a deal with Tesla already. Now, remember the quartz? So in Spruce Pine, North Carolina, right next to Ashland, they are wanting to expand their mines even larger. And the residents aren't having it either. Enter the floods. People, these are mountain towns. It rarely, if not ever, floods in the mountains. I would know. I grew up in the mountains in Colorado, which means none of these people have flood insurance. I mean, the media is saying biblical devastation in North Carolina, AKA like the worst thing that could happen. And you're not coming back from it. Read between the lines, people. Everything happens for a reason.
So I just had a friend call me and tell me that her parents are from Colombia. They live in Colombia right now. And on the Europe news, they are reporting today that HARP is creating these hurricanes, these storms. And they're literally attacking the Republican states. They are trying to stop this election for sure. They are land grabbing. They are throwing the whole kitchen sink at us. Red October is about to be very, very much Red October. September was bad. Red October is before the election. 30 days, well, a little more. Hang on. It's about to get tough. And we have more storms that are developing in the Gulf that's going to come the same path as Hurricane Helene did. There's reports from overseas that they're going to go for the Madrid fault line, which goes up from Louisiana, Mississippi, up to Illinois. It's going to put a lot of places underwater. If you've seen the Navy base or the Navy map, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it. And how it's going to look, this is how it's going to look. We're not going to have time to sit and fight over politics. We're going to be too busy trying to figure out how we're going to fix things. They don't want Trump to win. If Trump wins, they're gone and done forever. They have everything riding on getting Trump out, killing him, ending his presidency. Kamala's quote, "We're not going back." She's trying to tell you that they don't want to go back to hell. They don't want to be casted back to hell.
Folks, Jeremy Harrell, LFA TV here. Look, quick update on the disaster in our southeast region right now. Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, North Carolina, that entire region affected by the floods, the hurricane, the disasters, the complete wiping out of towns. Well, earlier today I reported on my show Live from America that both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris really do not care about what's going on down there. And that's not coming from me. Joe Biden says that there are no more resources to send to the flood victims. No more resources. We're sending billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine and Israel and every other place in the world, but no more resources to send to fellow Americans who pay taxes and who live right here on our own soil. We even heard him later on say that they're doing all they can do. He was on the phone for 2 hours this weekend, for crying out loud. Now we're figuring out that FEMA truckers reporting that the agency is not sending any aid to the disaster areas. This is absolutely huge. And I'm reading it right here. Logistics companies and truckers registered with FEMA are always on the front line of disasters, delivering food, water, and other aid to impacted communities. Brokers put thousands of truckers on notice to be ready when Hurricane Helene hit. But as of September 30th, FEMA isn't posting any available loads, according to multiple brokers and truckers. These truckers and these companies are saying, we're not getting any word. We're not even getting any kind of logistics or any kind of plans or any scheduling to deliver any disaster relief. And this coming on the heels of Joe Biden saying there's no more resources to give. We're tapped out. I wonder why. Couple that together with this port strike that's going to happen at 12:01 tonight, or I should say a.m. tomorrow morning, and we're in for a world of hurt. But this is what happens when you have people like Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg, when you have residents of the United States like Joe Biden, and fake non-democratically elected vice presidential candidate of the Democratic Party, Kamala Harris. Everything the Democrats touch turn to you know what. So there you go, folks. The truckers are now saying we're not getting any logistics, any scheduling, any orders, anything. It looks like we're going to have to come together as the American people and help everybody out because our federal government is too busy invading America and paying for all of that to happen. Really despicable and really disgusting. Folks, follow us, LFA TV, on Rumble at rumble.com/LFATV, and follow us on X at LFATVUS. Buckle up, folks.
It's tragic. As a matter of fact, we're trying to get the exact number. My FEMA advisor is on the ground in Florida right now. There's a distinction between the numbers that FEMA's used and the ones that are used by the locals. So it really is amazing. You saw the photographs. It's stunning.
It's unbelievable.
It really is.
Such a wide area.
And we've given them all everything that we have. We're on the ground ahead of time, so we're working hard.
Are there any more resources the federal government could be giving them?
No, we've given them, we have pre-planned a significant amount of it, even though they didn't ask for it yet. Hadn't asked for it yet.
On the hurricane, Mr. President, why weren't you and Vice President Harris here in Washington commanding this weekend?
I was commanding. I was on the phone for at least 2 hours yesterday and the day before as well. I command. It's called a telephone. And all my security people.
Is it not important for the country to see?
So I have a bunch of friends, like non-famous people, people that I know, friends of friends, all going out to North Carolina, Tennessee, people with small planes, have their own helicopters, stuff like that. People even driving up there, trying to get there on foot. And I'm just like, where are these billionaire celebrities? Like, I see Trump up there, but like, where's Billie Eilish? Where's Taylor Swift? All these people telling us what we need for America and like who to vote for. Where are you guys? Like, you're so rich, you have these jets, these planes, why aren't you helping?
In the aftermath of one of the worst hurricanes ever to hit the United States. And tragically for those affected, we neither had a president nor a vice president in place and equipped to direct the federal preparation, nor to demand a swift response by the federal government. The victims of Hurricane Helene didn't know where to turn over the weekend.
At this point, you don't see a FEMA station set up, right?
Right. And we should
have by now.
Yeah.
Is that concerning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We expect more and we can't get out.
You should expect more. Americans can't get out, they said, but Kamala Harris had no trouble getting in to California and to Las Vegas to campaign over the weekend. Well, the same with Biden. He spent most of his time at Rehoboth Beach.
More resources in North Carolina, knowing what you know now. And you wish you spent the weekend here in Washington rather than in Delaware.
Come on, 17, William Weatherdoe. It's 90 miles from here, okay? And I was on the phone the whole time working on that.
The whole time. Well, needless to say, they were both slammed for their failure to address the nation in real time. Asleep at the wheel, absentee leaders, the dereliction of duty. These were just some of the phrases ricocheting around Instagram and Twitter about what seemed like a low-key public response to an epic natural disaster. Now, Biden finally got shamed into going. He says he'll go to the region on Wednesday. As for Kamala, her team released a statement saying she would visit the regions affected when it was not disruptive to ongoing operations. Now, what they really meant was when it wasn't disruptive to Harris's previously scheduled campaign events. We saw what a real leader's response is like this afternoon, though, in a very hard-hit area of Georgia.
We have a lot of truckloads of different items, from oil to water to all sorts of equipment that's going to help them. Many thousands are without power. They're running low on food and fuel. We brought a lot of it down with us. It's going to be distributed now or soon throughout Georgia, as well as North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Virginia, Alabama, and Tennessee.
And yet, remember all the blather at the DNC about how Trump doesn't care about anyone but himself?
Throughout the region, our hearts are with you, and we are going to be with you as long as you need it. It's called an hour of need. You're in our prayers, and we pray to God. And throughout this the long weeks that lay ahead, you're going to have a lot of work, but the end result is...
I want to share with y'all some things you may not know about what's happening in the North Carolina mountains in the aftermath of Helene. Here's number one. If you have friends or family that are headed into the mountains or who live there, the looting has picked up major steam. I was advised yesterday by a county sheriff to make sure that anybody out and about is carrying, and in his words, carrying with the safety off. There are very aggressive people out there, and I'm just going to go ahead and say this. It's not because they're necessarily awful. They're desperate. Desperate people do desperate things, y'all. And why are they desperate? Because there's no water in some of these communities. We have neighbors in North Carolina with no water. And all I can say is this: the government ain't coming to save you. Not now, not ever, because they don't care about you, the people, anymore. It is the citizens who are going to have to step it up. Now, I got to tell y'all, I was floored yesterday by how my community, which is a little over an hour away from the affected areas, showed up at donation sites with water and diapers and formula and some liquid IV. I mean, y'all brought all kind of things, bleach, vinegar. You are ready to help, and we're going to take more donations today, and we're so grateful for everything, because I'm going to get it into the hands of actual volunteers. And I was asking people, like, why are you bringing it to me? Some of y'all don't even know me. And they said, well, we don't trust the relief organizations anymore. Y'all, we have lost our organizations to grifters. We have lost our organizations to liars. And so we have to rely on each other, because that's how this country was built. This country was built patriot by patriot. And I can tell you this, as a realtor, I know my realtors in the mountains, and I have talked to them, and they know the neighbors too. So I am getting your donations into hands that are going to get it into hands. And everybody that sent me dollars, I got teams of shoppers out, and I got receipts to prove it, because we are not grifters. We are neighbors. And the patriots that are in the mountains, if you see this, if your family sees this, hear me now. You are not forgotten by the rest of North Carolina. And if you are not in North Carolina, then there are ways that you can give. But can I just remind y'all of something? You cannot eat money. You cannot drink money. So for those of y'all that thought money was your God, and by the way, that includes our freaking elected officials, it's not your God. Told my girlfriend this morning while we were talking about this during our run, I said, tell your children, 'cause she's got grown children, this is why you keep a stash of water on hand. This is why you keep a stash of food on hand. But for those of y'all that are not in affected areas, if you can take your donated items and send it to the mountains, then send it with a friend. Make sure you're sending truckloads so that we don't overload the roads, because our first responders are overwhelmed. By the way, thank you, Governor DeSantis, for doing more for North Carolina than North Carolina's governor has. I'm very grateful for your National Guard, because we have to help each other, y'all. And I'm going to tell you something. If you will share this with somebody who doesn't know what's happening in North Carolina, they need to know. They need to know that there are entire towns gone. Chimney Rock is gone. A beautiful town. Swannanoa, gone. Montreat, gone. Other towns damaged beyond repair. That means our geography has changed, our culture is at risk, but most importantly, our people. Our generational people have lost their generational homes. This ain't about your granite countertops anymore. Listen, y'all, listen. Tell somebody how they can help. I am but one resource. There are people I know all over North and South Carolina that have been gathering up goods and trucks. Somebody as far away as Massachusetts putting a truck together. Let me know. I can connect you to where to take things. The Baptists are doing a great job out of Boone. Samaritan's Purse is on the ground. I trust those two organizations. I wish I had trust for more because I don't trust this government, but I trust the people of North Carolina. Y'all, the biggest thing you can do, pray. Pray right now. Pray fervently that people will turn their hearts back to God, and pray for a hedge of protection around all those who have seen things they should never have to see. I'll tell you one more story before I hang up this video. I had a lady come to my donation site yesterday, and her grandson is 10 years old, living in the mountains with his mother who works in a VA hospital. They're getting the kid out today to get him home because they can finally get him out, and they're worried because he has seen things he should never have to see. When you have children that are seeing bodies on the ground and towns gone, we're going to have to answer for that one day, y'all. Please pray, please do something. And for those of y'all that have already done something, I can't thank you enough.